Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone out there is staying safe. Today we want to cover one of the most asked questions on our channel when we do something with our Chevelle or one of our cars is what's the size of your shop? What did it cost to build it? Questions like that. So I wanted to do a real quick video, just a quick rundown. You know, I'm not going to go into 100% detail, but just give you a quick rundown of what the size of the shop is, what it costs to build it, things like that. Some advice on do's and don'ts. So first thing you want to start with, and I wish somebody had told me this earlier. I'm not an expert in this, but you want to check your easements, right? You want to check your easements all around your property. So in my case, there's a 15-foot easement from the fence line, from my fence, inside the property. So I gotta stay from the fence in 15 feet. Seems excessive, right? But that's what it is. I used to own a house about 2 houses down, and we tried to build a shop there. We didn't get that information. We actually poured the slab, and then the city showed up and said, hey, you know, you can't do that. So they did allow me to finish a carport, but they didn't let me build a shop. So anyway, that's old, you know, that's in the past. But again, check your easements. Here on this property, it's 15 feet inside the fence line, and then it's 6 feet from our neighbor's property. So from the fence line, so it's 6 feet from the neighbor, 15 from the back. Even though there's nothing behind my property, there's a road that runs back there. Again, that's what they told us. So again, make sure you check that. Another thing you want to do is you want to plan your electricity, and you want to plan your plumbing ahead of time. So get that planned, know where it's going to go, know where you're going to run it to, and do that before you pour the concrete. Do not pour any concrete until you get that figured out. So what you want to do is if you're short on cash, do this. Just run the conduit, right? At least run the conduit for the electricity, and then run the plumbing for the bathroom or whatever you're going to do, and get that out of the way. And then that way, when you run your concrete, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, and that's already done. So anyway, breakdown of the shop. It's 25 by 26, 25 wide, 26 deep. The carport, it's a purlin carport. It's also 25 by 26. That's about 650 square feet per piece. So that's about 1,300 square feet. Originally, we were going to run a shop that was actually all the way across, you know, and it was going to be 1,300 square feet of shop. But since I live right in the middle of a neighborhood, you know, I kind of didn't want to do that. It was going to look kind of weird. So we just went ahead and went with the carport. Gives us a space to work on cars and get some airflow. And then of course, you know, keeps us out of the sun. And then we built the shop for storage. So again, the shop itself is 25 by 26. It's 12 feet at the overhangs, at the eaves, and then it's 14 feet at the center. Okay. So 25 by 26, 14 feet at the center. The 2 roll-up doors are 10 by 10. And then the purlin shop is also, the carport is also 10 feet high. And you can tell by looking at the level of the doors versus the level of the height of the carport. There is a side door, roll-up door. That roll-up door is, I believe it's 8 by 7. And the reason we did that is to allow for some airflow to come through. And then we have just your standard man door. Another thing to think about when you're putting in your shop is, where does the sun rise? Where does the sun rest? So in this case, our shop is facing south, right? The sun, of course, rises in the east and then settles in the west, right? So that way we don't have the sun right on the shop, right, you know, right at the front of the shop. So you might want to consider that when you're putting down your shop, is how is it going to face to minimize the amount of sun. We are planning in the future to add, and I'll back up again, we are planning to add an 8, a 10, well, yeah, we're planning to add another purlin carport, and that one is going to be in this area here, and it's going to be basically, it's going to follow the A-frame. It's going to follow the shop line, and then it's going to come back towards the house. And we do plan to do that in the future. So when you come into the property, as you come in the gate, you'll have another carport here on this side as well. And that, of course, allow us to park 2 more cars under there. Actually, probably 3 cars, and keep them out of the sun. And then when the sun is, you know, working through its day, it'll keep the sun off of us if we're out here, and then off of the cars as well. Another thing is very important, and something that you know, again, I wish somebody had told me when the guy came to look where he was going to do the shop, and we talked about concrete. He said, "What's the size of the shop?" I said 25 by 26. He said, "Okay, give me a foot all the way around the shop." Me not knowing any better, said, "Yeah, man, that sounds great." I gave him a foot all the way around. Bad mistake. Don't do that. What happened is, now, since I left him this lip, right, all the way around, see that? What happened is, now with condensation, or when it rains, the water comes down off the eaves or runs down the shop, hits the concrete, and then runs into the shop. Okay, it does not run out, it runs in. So what you want to do when you lay your shop down is, when you lay your concrete, you want to make sure that it's exactly the same size as your shop. Okay, and the reason you want to do that is to make sure that when it rains, the water comes down, goes directly to the ground, and does not go into the shop. In this case here, we had some rain earlier. You can see the water line right here. You can see that water line. So water comes down and it actually flows in. Not a lot, but we do get some water inside the shop. Okay, once the other guy came to do the other concrete, he did put a little bit of a slope to it, so the water does run this way, or it does run out, and then it runs out towards the gate. Okay, but don't make the shop don't make the concrete slab bigger than the shop without at least some kind of a slope. Otherwise, you're going to get water in the shop. We did cure it. We did use a sealer, so that helped a lot. But again, you know, be careful with that. Total space we have from the back all the way to the gate is about 50 feet. And then from this line here to the back is about another 45 feet. So the shop, again, you know, was built by just one of those. You can find these guys on Craigslist. You can find them on Facebook. You know, they just build barns, things like that. The inside of the shop, of course, will be metal, right? And then what I did do is I had them insulate it, so the roof is insulated, and that helped a lot. Okay. And then we had another guy come in and trim out the inside. I found a guy on Craigslist, paid him $300. He came in, he did all the inside. I think we spent like $500 on material. Went down to Home Depot, bought some more sheet metal, and we bought some more, some wood. And I had him do a nice little trim out. That gives us a nice area to hang up, you know, flags, signs, things like that. So gave us an area to hang up our TV. That's an old TV, it's a 55-inch, but it allowed us to hang it up on the wall. So so let's talk cost. What did it cost to build it? So the first thing that went down was the slab for the shop. That's the first thing that went in. And again, 25 by 26, we went a little bit bigger. You know, the guy telling me to give him a foot around. So we ended up paying, I want to say about $2,500. $2,500, I believe, is what I paid for the slab. And another thing is, when you do the shop slab, make sure that they smooth it out. I had another friend that recently did a shop, and the concrete guy left the surface of the shop slab left it rough, and that was a bad deal. So he had to have someone else come in and do like some sanding and try to get it smooth. So the outside of the shop out there, it is rough, right, for traction. The inside of the shop is very, very smooth, okay? And you want to do that. So if you're rolling around on a chair or you're rolling around on a creeper, you want to make sure that you're able to roll around smoothly. You don't want to be catching, you know, on the slab. So make sure you do that. So again, $2,500 is what we paid, I believe, for the slab. I'm pretty sure that's what I paid for it. And then we had the shop people come in, build a shop with the two 10x10 doors, with the 8x7 side roll-up door, with the man door, with the insulation, no electricity, with the insulation. We paid $11,000 for the shop, and that's out the door. We gave the guy half down, and then we paid the balance when he finished it. He finished it in about a day and a half. They were pretty quick. At the end of the video, I'll include some pictures of them putting it up, as well as some pictures of some of the other work that they did here, like the slab and things like that. So again, $2,500 for the slab, $2,500 for the slab, $11,000 for the shop. You're already looking at $13,500. You know, when you're all said and done, you're looking at $13,500 for that. What else? Then the purlin shop, the outside shop, or the carport. Again, the carport is actually the same size as I've stated before. It's 25 by 26, 10 foot high with a slope for the rain. That was about $4,000 for that. Okay, and it is fully welded. The guys that did it were awesome. They didn't even charge me anything up front. They just came in, they knocked it out in one day, and then I paid him at the end of the day, and it was like $4,000 for that. And again, it is fully welded in, you know, tied down to the ground, bolted down to the surface. So that was pretty cool. I really, really like the way that turned out. And these are the guys that I'm gonna have come in and do the other A-frame purlin carport as well. So $13,500 for the shop and the slab, $4,000 for the carport. We're at $17,500. And then the biggest project was the concrete, the overall concrete that we did out here. Okay, so that came out to be, now all they had to do was, they didn't have to do the shop anymore because the shop was already done, but they did have to go from here all the way over there. They did a little curve there, and then they went into the where the carport was. Now the slab, all this was poured before we did the carport. That we paid about $7,000 for the concrete slab with rebar, you know, with the chairs, you know, the little area, the little plastic pieces where the rebar sits, so it doesn't sink to the bottom and reinforces the concrete. So that was about $7,000. So you're looking at about $24,500 total. And that's concrete, slab, carport, shop, concrete, slab. We're looking at about $24,500. Obviously, we're not rich. We didn't do this all at once. We did it over stages. We did a little bit at a time. We did the shop for a while there. We couldn't even get in. We had to put some boards to get inside. You know, over time, you know, slowly, you know, we did it a piece at a time. One thing I forgot to mention, on the concrete slab inside the shop, when the guy did it, I did have him put some footers for where the lift was gonna sit. So we did 3x3 footers at every corner, at every post, right? And then we went 8 inches deep with extra rebar. We didn't have to do that, but we did it just, you know, just because, you know, it felt a little bit safer. So we did do that. So where the lift sits, there are 3x3 footers, 8 inches deep. The rest of the slab is your standard 4 inches. That's what your standard is. And then of course, this is also, the outside slab is also 4 inches deep with rebar. So make sure that when you're planning this out, make sure you get a slope going for the rain. So here the rain comes down and they sloped it out and then out the gate. Same thing over here, it slopes and then goes out the gate. Okay, so when it rains, the water, you know, drains out that way. If I put a ball out here and lay it down, the ball will actually roll down that way. And that's what you want to make sure that that you get done, to get water when it's raining, to get it out of the shop area. So again, about 24.5 is what we have in the shop. Everything else, again, we did over time. Well, 24.5. Let's just say 25 if we include the trim out that we did in here, right? So if you include the trim here, the walls, this, and then the other sheet metal, you know, we can round it off. So round it off to about 25,000 bucks. Everything else, of course, the lift came in later. The cabinets, all that stuff came in later. So again, that's about it. That's the breakdown of the shop. That's the best advice I can give you when you're planning your own shop. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm not an expert at this, but I'll help you out as much as I can, and I'll answer as many questions as I can for you, to help you plan your own shop. Oh, one thing I forgot. So let me show you. We're still not done. When we before we did the slab, we did plumb it for a bathroom. Don't mind the mess. We've got an LS engine here. We're going to work on some more engines over there. But here's our water supply, and then we've got the drain for the toilet and whatnot, and then we have the vent over there, and all that is tied back to the house. The pipes run all the way back over there towards the house. We just haven't gotten around to having anyone come in and build a bathroom for us. I did reach out to a couple of guys. Man, it's really hard to find good people. I did reach out to a couple of guys, said they could come do it, and then they never show up. Or you get the usual guy that, you know, wants you to pay him up front. Be careful with that, guys. I mean, you know, we all work really hard for our money. Be careful with who you get to do the work. Do your research. Ask them for references. Who else have you done work for, right? And just don't give your money to somebody. If they're asking you for money up front, for you to pay for the whole job up front, just tell them no thank you. Just walk away. Now, if they're asking you for money to buy material, that's normal, okay? That's pretty much standard. Your concrete guy is going to ask you for a deposit. Your shop guy is going to ask you for a deposit. But if you've done your due diligence and you trust the guy, you've checked around, you've got some references, then you have nothing to worry about. Go ahead and pull the trigger and get it done. So again, that's it. That's a breakdown of our little workshop at home. You know, we put a lot of cars out through here. Sometimes we help out friends. Sometimes we have actual customers that bring us their cars. And again, you know, we're not a full-blown shop. We're not here making money out of this. This is just a hobby. But, you know, we do have some people that do trust us to do the work for them. They would rather come to us because we're a one car shop. So in other words, you bring us one car, we knock it out, and then it goes back out. And again, that's just a side gig that we do, just to help out people with classic cars or you know, LS cars that want a little bit of work done. So again, that's it. Thanks for watching. Everyone, please stay safe out there. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Shoot me a DM if you have to. And again, please share, subscribe, like our video, and you know, we'll post up more videos as we go through. Apparently we're all gonna have a lot of time on our hands here. So again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Stay safe.